Hello, and welcome to the Parker Marchand Show. Today, of course, is Saturday, October the 10th. And yes, it is finally fall. It is official. This is, of course, your host, as always, LM Love, here to bring you the hottest trends for fall 2015 for women and men. Yes, guys, I thought I told you I'd remember you this time. And I do have a few notables that I'd like to share with you. First of all, as we already know, whenever the temperatures drop and it starts to get cold, you can't go wrong without your topper, your sweater, your trench. And what's new for fall 2015 for the ladies? Well, the floor duster coat. This is a trend that took place and actually hit some kind of traction last year, actually. And for now, it is really all the rage. It's something you definitely want to invest in. And again, it's called the Floor Duster Coat. And Chanel, as well as the Calvin Klein collection, has some offerings. And of course, you can always find copies at your Burlingtons. And of course, your Filene's Basement. If you definitely want to try to stay within budget. If you just don't have a lot of excess money to spend, this might be a worthwhile trend which to invest in. So think about the floor duster coat. Now, I would have to say it's really more or less for the ladies. If you are like 5'7", 5'8", and above, it'll work best for you because it dusts the floor literally, and therefore it is more or less better for the girl who's kind of tall. But surely, if you can't find one that flatters you or you're on the petite side, this is one of those trends that you may want to leave on the sidelines. Now, of course, I mentioned before that fur is everywhere. Definitely you'll find it not only in your coats or your vest, your outerwear, and your boots. You're also going to see a lot of touches of fur for fall 2015 on your sweaters, on the collars, and cardigans, and just about everywhere. Basically, you can check out Prada or Pro Scholler for actually some that sport evening dresses with a touch of fur. So that might be something you certainly want to investigate. Mongolian lamb fur was actually all the rage on the runways. So obviously it's something to think about. Just get yourself some fur. I prefer faux because I'm very fond of the furry creatures. And it looks just as good, frankly speaking. You can't go wrong with that. What is another really hot trend for ladies? Neo-Victorian. Be it something elegant, such as the high neck ruffle collar. Just think about the Victorian era, with Queen Victoria and how everything was so prim and proper. Black and white was the rule. And again, of course, going forward for fall 2015, black and white is certainly right. You can wear it day and night, and you cannot ever make any mistakes. You'll always be hot and completely on trend if you choose to find yourself a couple of looks in those two incredibly fabulous hues. Now, having said that, getting back to the Neo-Victorian, mainly you want to look for the high neck ruffle collars or the elegance of black lace. It is everywhere, ladies, and you certainly can find it everywhere you look, and you can't be out of place whether you choose to wear a skirt that's lace for the evening or just a lovely lace blouse for the office, and particularly the black, something underneath the suit, understated yet elegant and ladylike, is all the rage. So don't be afraid of trying something different and get into something that's very sophisticated. That would be Neo-Victorian. So certainly put that on your shopping list, ladies. Now, what else besides that? And of course, you can't go wrong with a lace dress for the evening, something a cocktail length, perfect for every occasion. You certainly will turn heads. You cannot make a wrong turn, no matter where you choose to sport this trend. Now, what else is particularly interesting to me? I would have to say the slip dress, and according to Vogue, it is going to be incredibly hot going forward. Yes, the temperatures are dropping, but being that we do have toppers like the trench and our coats, and as going forward, we'll have our wools and our furs, and of course, I mentioned the militaristic look, and of course, you definitely want to make sure that you invest in a fabulous trench. You certainly cannot be without the slip dress. Always sophisticated, always elegant, always something to be seen in, regardless of what the body structure, the shape. Of course, you want to find something that skims rather than hugs. And also silk is always preferable. Or if you can find a nice imitation, it's a little more difficult, but certainly speaking, you want to look at the actual slip dress, whether it's the long gown length or you want to look at the cocktail length. Either way, you cannot lose. Another really interesting way that it's actually being transformed, the slip dress is also being shown on the runways worn over pants, and also an anorak. That was something that did come to mind at the Rag and Bone shows. So it's definitely different, and it will give your slacks a much more feminine appeal, and of course it'll kind of give your anorak, which is typically known to be sporty, an elegant ladylike essence. So you certainly want to think about the slip dress. It's always right, you can never go wrong. It is essentially, you can go with a traditional lace trim piece, and again, like I said, this look, and just layer yourself so that you are still going to be nice and toasty when you get where you're going and you unveil your lovely chic look. Moving on. As we know, we had a love affair with the 90s. Grunge came back in, really didn't stay around, didn't last. Maybe we were a little tired of being the rough around the edges and looking like less than, well, a lady. However, for women's fashion in 2015, we're going to see a replay on the 80s theme. And mainly what we're seeing here, we're looking at some of the looks that are bold and brash. The colors are everywhere, very vibrant, very neon, and it's certainly something you want to look into. You will find them also played out with glitzy cocktail dresses in sequins. Certainly a really great look for the evening, ladies, so don't be shy. It certainly is not a look for the meek. If you are someone who sits on the sideline, sort of a wallflower, perhaps this retake on the 80s color blocking and of course the bright hues may not be for you. But if you like attention and you love and thrive being in the center of it all, then yes, you want to check out the 80s redo and certainly know that it's going to be great looking on you. What else is particularly interesting and really never goes away? It's absolutely that white blouse, the crisp blouse that you always want to have in your closet. Looks fabulous with your jeans, looks great with tailored slacks, and of course with a suit. And for an interview, it certainly does set you apart. And it's such a clean, fresh look, and it's a classic. What's new about it for fall 2015 is the fact that it's become more Victorian, again going back to the other trend that I mentioned previously, the neo-Victorian. You also will find that you have the high necks and you also have the frills, which is extremely Victorian in and of itself. So you certainly would like to look at that. It's like taking that basic white blouse and its original simplicity and taking it to an entirely higher level. So you certainly cannot go wrong. And don't forget, when you're talking about the white blouse, the crisp white statement blouse as they're calling it for fall 2015, you want to also look to ones that have some type of appliques and perhaps a little adornments of the bow ties that you would probably find on a waiter at your favorite restaurant. And also, don't forget the ruffles and the sheer. The sheer is everywhere this year. So certainly you want to embrace that. Take every opportunity to get a couple of those. You know, go with something ruffle for the evening and perhaps for the day, touches of lace and the little black bows. You certainly don't want to wait to get this into your playlist for your wardrobe. Certainly goes a long way and looks great with just about everything, the statement white blouse. What else? Well, let me just say, I'm going to go ahead and let you know real quick before I get on to the men that you want to think about patchwork. Not exactly like your grandmother's quilts, but it's more or less like a throwback to the 70s to some extent. Essentially, you want to look at the patches. It's kind of pulling apart and looking at that global touches, the global effect that you may have already noticed, and that urban and that world theme, that whole world market vibe is just so hot and on trend for fall 2015. The patchwork is just kind of an extension of that. And you will see that if you check out Chloe or Valentino, they have the mixed media looks that truly will bring it home and give you a really great bang for your buck. So if you're looking to invest, a patchwork, perhaps a lovely cardigan might not be a bad way to go, or just an elongated sweater dress or a sweater coat, even better. And as the weather and the temperatures continue to drop, you will find that rocking the patchwork sweater coat will certainly leave you at the very height of sophistication for the fall 2015 season. Now, last but not least, you want to look into the Eastern influence. And of course, these are just things that kind of just stand out. There's so much to choose from this season, but these are the standout trends that I think will make you stand apart from the rest of the crowd, and while your friends and your associates as well. So before I go on to the men, I just want to mention the fact that another heavy trend, and really something that is absolutely fresh and hot out the box, will be the Eastern influence. You'll see a lot of Asian trends. You may even see like the decoupage, and you'll see like all of the silk screen look of the dragons, which is, of course, is certainly a tribute to Asian culture, China, and also Japan, to just name a couple. But at the same time, it expands on that. If you take a look at Alexander McQueen, Diane von Furstenberg, certainly those designers, and not to forget Roberto Cavalli, you will see that they took this trend and went with lots of lace on one hand, and also a lot of embroidery. But you will see a lot of gold as well at Donna Karan. Certainly something you want to look at. And then you just have so much Chinese influence all over the place for this particular season. And it certainly is worth the investment. Most definitely you want to get a piece where you can have that type of in-the-face, stylish look at your disposal. It will certainly set you apart. It's great for the evening if you're looking for over-the-top drama. Then the Eastern influence is certainly the direction you want to travel in, without question. And like I said, I'm going to give you one more because I think there's so many things out there, so many looks to be excited about this season that it's hard to really narrow it down. But these are like the top picks from Vogue, and I certainly do recommend them highly. And I have to say that I have my own picks, and those are the ones that I'm mentioning here. And also ones that I think are very transferable to reality and real life. You can't look like you're on the catwalk when you're going to work, your 9 to 5, or going out after evening or going to your after 5 affair. You need something that's going to reflect your personality and that's going to absolutely make you look not cookie cutter, but like an original. And I believe that the trends that I'm mentioning here tonight will absolutely assure that you are at the top of your style game always. So last but not least from me, and then of course there's more to come. I will probably touch base on this topic because there's just so much lovely stuff to share. I mean, there's just so much that's on trend that is absolutely fabulous this year that it's difficult not to revisit what does look hot now. So before I go, let me just tell you about the velvet. It's all about the texture here. And you will see from Sonia Raquel and Landine That is absolutely wonderful stuff. Alexander Wang is doing sleek coats in velvet. So you have like this wonderful, wonderful, soft to the touch, and also this real elegance that comes along whether you go with the black velvet, which is obviously a traditional, or you just want to go with something more vibrant and bold like your royal purples or your red, your crimsons, your royal blues. The cobalt is everywhere, so you may want to just even get like a cape or a wrap skirt, but you want to have something in velvet, whatever it is that you choose, whether it is a dress or whether it's even just a blazer. A black velvet blazer is always fabulous, and hey, you can even pair it with that the statement white blouse, and you will absolutely be a showstopper no matter where you choose to go, where you're hanging out for the evening, or whether you're going into the office for the workday. It definitely is a look that can work just about anywhere, at any time, at any place. So certainly do want to invest in the velvet blazer. I recommend it highly. They do have some capes. Now that's a little bit more daring. But if you want to go that route, there are some wonderful tassel closed capes at Lanvin. Absolutely delightful, delicious, and lovely, I will say, but it's not for everyone. And certainly, I don't know if it's for every day, but for the evening, say if you're going to the concert, you're going to the opera, the symphony, that would work perfectly. Would be absolutely stunning. Oh, and you can take that and mix it with the other trend and look like $1,000,000 right over the slip dress. That's a look that is certainly will defy the odds, get all the people talking, and certainly have you looking like someone who is truly, truly chic. So that's it for me, and that's for the ladies. As always, the pantsuit is going nowhere soon. And you do want to look at looks that will actually have fabrication that is kind of sparkly. A lot of lurex everywhere, which is always kind of fabulous as we get closer to the party season. You want something that's going to make you shine, but you want to also make sure it's subdued so you're not wearing something that's actually literally wearing you. But having said that, you can't go wrong with the sequins. Can't go wrong with the knife pleats, the skinny knife pleats, and just everything that's pretty much just sparkly. That Lurex is amazing, and it does wonderful things for the skin. So think about it. Think about it really and truly. We do have a beauty segment probably coming up soon where we will discuss the luminosity of the skin and the importance of using the bronzer even after the sun has disappeared and the winter is coming home to play. So now, what is it that we have to say about menswear? What is it that's really the rage for men? Well, guys, a lot of times you have it a lot easier than us ladies because your trends are just that much more practical. No question about it. You have a little bit more flexibility and you can afford to be daring. But for the most part, if you just put on a suit, you can't lose. Fall 2015, the the Mad Men look is never going to ever go out of vogue. It's not going anywhere. It never will, because the man in a classic, well-tailored suit is just a no-brainer. And he's always going to look like somebody who is up and coming and a guy who's already pretty much arrived. And even if you haven't gone there yet, you have to know how to fake it. But what is it that you're going to really need right now? Well, let's go over that right quick because I don't want to leave you guys out this time. I don't think it's fair because obviously you want to look good too. So what are the looks that you need to master for the season according to those who are in the know? Let's just start with the color, shall we? And yes, the color is gray. Gray all night and all day. All shades of gray, from your slate to your dove to your pearl to your straight out, flat out fabulous silver gray. I mean, you cannot go wrong, fellas, whether you decide to go with a gray suit and go with that lovely still Wall Street look. You want to go with the look that actually became incredibly famous in the 50s and just go with that little black tie. You can't go wrong there. Or you might want to try a trench. It certainly is a look that is finishing first. And it'll have you looking like a guy who knows what it takes to look good. No matter what the occasion, no matter where he is, or no matter what time of the day. So let's just make it gray. Whether you want to choose a bottom, tracksuit, sweats, or you just want to keep it corporate with the suit or a trench coat or a lovely, lovely wool coat. When it gets colder, you want to make sure you have that in your closet, something you can turn to. Now, according to those in the know, what is it that you're going to need right now? A coat. Yes, fellas, you want to invest in a very wonderfully tailored, well-designed, double or single-breasted wool coat. One that has a slightly oversized vibe. Think about that this time, guys, when you're out there and you're selecting that new outer piece. You want to think of the actual tailored coat in wool, because that is the only thing you're going to need this season. I assure you, it is hot. It is absolutely extremely versatile, whether you throw it over your suit to go to work, or over your cords or your khakis to go hang out with the fellas on the weekend, or to take your girl to a movie or whatever. You will always look incredibly dapper when you choose the double or single-breasted wool topper. What else is looking good? Well, hey, looks like you guys are taking a note from the ladies. That's right. You've got the patterns and the patches. Just like we're speaking about the patchwork for the women. And yes, for you, you're going to find this type of pattern just about everywhere. You can see it in your jackets and your sweaters. So do think about picking up either a casual jacket, perhaps even a tailored coat, or a couple of sweaters where the patterns are geometric and the patches are incredibly front stage center. You certainly cannot lose when you choose that, because they were all over the runway for the men, and it certainly does look exceptional when you just put it on with a pair of jeans or a lovely pair of gabardine slacks. You certainly will always look like a star, and you'll never fall flat. So think about that. It was certainly a true front runner for the season, and because seriously, squares and patches are everywhere. And if you're bold, you can go with something big on your sweater or even on your jeans. But don't be afraid. You won't look like a hobo, men, I assure you. This look is definitely strictly for those who do not mind being seen. What else is great for the fellas? And I'm going to wrap this up shortly. Pockets. That's right, guys. For you, you don't need to worry about taking around your man purse anymore. Remember that episode from Seinfeld? That was a scream. Well, now, that was the 90s, and we're here now in 2015, and this is the 21st century. And what we're seeing are pockets that are supersized, and it'll give you guys the ability not to worry about where you're going to hang your iPad mini or anything, or your cell. You just can go ahead and put it in that large pocket that you're going to find just about everywhere. It's on flannel shirts, it's on jackets, and it is absolutely on sweaters. It's just like really just right there in your face. Therefore, if you're going to be some guy who wants to stand out, you want to be at the fashion forefront, you want to get yourself a piece of outerwear, a jacket preferably, sporty, classy. You want to get yourself something with an oversized pocket. Right on your next piece of outerwear, you'll see that it's being cut from contrasting fabrics and sewn on in the most prominent of positions. You really can't miss it. So basically, make sure you add that to the list. You'll be right on trend. What else is looking good for you guys? Well, truthfully speaking, we've had enough of the skinny jeans for the dudes. What we're seeing now is we're going back to baggy trousers. That's right, guys. For you men who weren't too comfortable with the skinny jean look, you're going to be absolutely fond of this new trend that's everywhere. Trousers now are a lot more higher waisted for the fellas, a lot far looser cut. And the flares are actually there, but they're, for the most part, not the 70s flare that you used to see, not the bell bottoms that you use. Basically, if you've ever seen Saturday Night Fever, that John Travolta was rocking oh so perfectly. No, not quite to that extent. That's a little too extreme. But they are definitely, the trousers are certainly loosening up. And it's along the lines of the zoot suits, believe it or not, from the 1940s. It's like we're going all the way back, seriously. But you cannot miss it, and a lot of times you're going to find the trousers that you really want to invest in, you'll find them in wool. You'll find them really well tailored, lined, and just absolutely fabulous and phenomenal. So fellas, if you're looking to be right on trend, get yourself a pair of baggy trousers, and you're going to be the man of the hour. Now, I think I'm going to end it here. I'll bring you more, but last but not least, I think I mentioned this in the opening. That's the one-piece suit, which is kind of having a little bit of a hard time getting there, but let's be honest here. It's definitely on trend, which is why it's being mentioned. You may want to think about it. It may not be for everyone. It is the one-piece suit. Guys who are in the area of mechanics or aeronautics, they're very familiar with this look. It's almost like a jumpsuit, and it's just all very streamlined. So you just put this on and you're ready to go. It's one piece. It's kind of like the equivalent of the female jumpsuit, but in this case, it's being referred to as the one-piece suit. It's something that became kind of vogue during Winston Churchill's reign, and it was also a standard army issue. So it definitely has a lot of history. But now it's not the basic militaristic look. It's actually to be found even in boardrooms, and definitely for those guys who are just kind of hanging out at the club, you will start to see it. It's certainly not for the shy. It's a break from the traditional, and that's what makes it hot, guys. So don't be shy. Step right up and get yourself that one-piece suit. For the most part, they have been shown not just casually, but also as a corporate, I would have to say, a corporate takeaway, something that is kind of a departure from your typical tailored suit, single-breasted. It is something that you can dress up with a tie or a tailored jacket, which was actually seen at Hermes. So don't be afraid. It's something that you can actually wear to the office, and again, it's all one piece. Now, I don't know about going to the men's room, men. That might be a little tricky. Same thing with the ladies with the jumpsuit, but I'm sure you'll get comfortable with it, because let's be honest here, it's being mentioned because it is on the hit list of not to be missed. Well, this has been Ellen Love, and I really do hope that you have found some takeaways to add to your shopping list as you get your looks together for this fall season. Thank you for tuning in. It again has been a pleasure. Absolutely would like to hear what pieces you might be choosing to invest in of the ones that I've mentioned here. This is like pretty much the wrap up on what has been a 3-part series of what is hot right now for women, and in this case, men as well. I more than likely will do a follow-up sometime for the season before we say adieu to 2015, but that's some time yet. And I definitely want to take a look at fashion for the holidays, because as you know, we're about to hit the major day, which of course is Thanksgiving. And that's the time when you get together and see all your family and friends that you may not have seen in forever. And you certainly want to look your very best, whether you're a gal or a fella. So thank you for listening. This has been Ellen Love for the Parker Michon Show. As always, love those that you love and live each day like this is your last one. Take care and have a really wonderful week, and hopefully you're off for Columbus Day Monday and you can have fun doing whatever. Ciao for now.